Welcome back. Let's now talk about the first built-in data structure that we have in JavaScript, arrays. Don't get curious about this word called data structures. It will become all clear by the end. So now let's say that I want to store the details of my friends in a variable. How can we do this? From whatever we have learned so far, we will create a variable and store the data. Now this is cool, but this is not really fun to do because imagine if we have to store the names of 10 friends, we would have to create 10 variables. So this does not sound like real fun. Wouldn't it be great to bundle all of the details into one block or one big container all at once? Yes, it would be. So to do this, we have data structures in JavaScript and arrays are one of them. Arrays help you to create a container of multiple data all at once, and this is important because programming is most of the time all about data. So we get data from somewhere, we store and process some data, and then we get some data back. And this data has to go somewhere, so it has to be stored in some place, and that's why we use data structures just like arrays. And the two most important data structures, at least in JavaScript, are arrays and objects. So in this video, we will learn all about arrays, and in the next one, we will see objects. Let's now see how to create a very simple array. To create an array, you just declare a variable. In my case, since I want to store name of my friends, I called it name of friends, and then you say equals to these empty pair of brackets. Inside this, you can refer all your friends' name separated by a comma. And then this is a very simple array, and if you want to see the output in the console, you can do console.log name of friends. If you save it, there you go, you have a very simple array. This is a very simple array. Now in JavaScript, we have one more way to create an array, and that is by using the new keyword. So let's say that we want to create an array of years. So I can say const years equals to new array. And now inside this array, you can pass all the years separated by a comma, and then this will be an years array containing all the years. And so if you want to see the output, you can say console.log years. If you save it, there you go, you have multiple arrays. One created using the literal array syntax, that is pair of brackets, and another one is by using this new array. Now this is something called as constructor, and we will understand about this new keyword when we will understand about object-oriented programming in JavaScript. So always remember, the most simplest way to create an array is by using the literal array syntax. So for now, you can skip this one, but just I wanted to clear it because this is also one way of creating an array. Now another part of dealing with an array is to understand how to access data from inside of an array. So let's say we want the name of our first friend. How can we access that? Well, here comes indexing. Indexing refers to the location where a particular data is stored, and in arrays, indexing always starts at 0. So remember, in your school days, you were given to count numbers and you always started from 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and goes up to whatever number you have been given to count up to. But in programming, we don't start counting from 1 but from 0. So here, if you want to access this Sheetal, you can access this data from its indexing position. So this is 0, and then this is at 1, this is at 2, similarly this at 3, and the last one is at 4. Okay, so Sheetal is at 0 index. So for example, let's assume that we are on a railway ticket line. We want the ticket. So the first person that is in the row will be counted at 1, and then 2 and 3. But if you were to simulate the same scenario using an array, person 1, person 2, for example, you can name it from name of friends, so you can say get ticket, person 1, person 2, person 3, then the person 1 will be at 0 index. He or she will not be at first index but at 0 index, because very simple, always remember, in programming, mostly, not mostly, but I think always, indexing starts at 0. So you count the first value from its 0 index. So if you want this Sheetal, you can simply refer it like this. So you again open this pair of brackets and you say give me the 0 index. So it is same as saying name of friends at 0 index, that is Sheetal. So if you save, you see you get Sheetal, right? Similarly, if you want this data Mayank, you can say from index of 1 you can pass the index of that data that you want to access, and it will give you Mayank. Similarly, if you want Akash, you can simply pass the position of Akash, that is 4. There you go, you got Akash. So this is how you retrieve a data from inside of an array. Now we can also find the length of the array. So for example, if someone asks you how many data are inside of this array, so generally you would start to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But avoid doing this. We don't do this in programming. We make it very simple. So to do this, to find out the actual length of a given array, you do not count, but you use a built-in method that is called as length. So here you simply say name of friends, and then you say dot, and then you say length, and when you will save it, it will return you the length of the array. So it will be 5 because we have 5 data inside of this array. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I save it, you see we get 5. But of course, indexing starts at 0. Don't get confused with indexing and the number of data that we have inside of the array. Indexing simply stores the position of the data. So if you want to access Sheetal, you can refer 0 index because array starts at 0. But when someone asks you how many data are inside of this array, you always say that okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 data. If you count these numbers, these would total up to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that's why you are saying it 5. And of course, if you hover over this length method, you see it says gets or sets the length of the array. This is a number 1 higher than the highest index of the array. So length will always be plus 1 than the last index. So last index is 4. So 4 plus 1 equals to 5. Okay, so you'll always get 5. So actually this is pretty useful. For example, if you want to find out the last item from the array, let's add few more. Now I added few more items inside of the name of friends array. More precisely, name of few more friends. Now if I ask you to retrieve the data for Abhinav, actually the last data that we have inside this array, so typically you would start to count the index. So if Akash is at 4, you would say 5, 6, 7, 8. So to get Abhinav, you will simply refer the 8th index. So if you save, you get Abhinav. But we don't do this. We can use this length function, actually length method, not function. So you can use this length method to retrieve data that is in the last position inside of an array. So you simply say name of friends, and then here you pass this array, and then here you simply say name of friends dot length minus 1. So if you save, you get Abhinav. How does this process is evaluating? Let me show you. So you are simply saying name of friends. So this is the variable, and then inside this name of friends dot length is 9. So 9. Name of friends dot length will return you 9, and when you say 9 minus 1, you will get the indexing position of Abhinav. So here you will get 9 minus 1 equals to 8. Okay, so then it will evaluate to name of friends to 8, and it will give you Abhinav. So the same thing is happening here. You see, we say name of friends at 8th index, it gave me Abhinav. Similarly, this process is also evaluating like this, resulting into Abhinav printed here in the console. So this is a very simplest form of array. That's how we access data inside of an array. Now we can also for example, if you want to update an array, okay, you can update the data. For example, let's say we are no longer friend with Rakhi. We can replace this Rakhi with any other detail. For let's example, for example, I can say I am friend with John Wick. Okay, I can simply say name of friends index, find out the index. So index is 2. Now equals to, I'll say John Wick. Okay, and so now you will see that this Rakhi will be replaced with this John Wick. So if I now quickly console.log name of friends array again, now you'll see we no longer have Rakhi inside of this array, but Rakhi has been replaced with John Wick. But altogether, you really cannot replace this entire array. So you cannot say name of friends equals to a new array containing new data. So I can say Raman Prabhat. No, it will result into an error. So if you do this one, it will give you type error. It will say assignment to constant variable. So there you go, it says type error, assignment to constant variable. So you can mutate the array, but you really cannot altogether replace the original array. Now can you see this? It says type error. So can you find something interesting here? It says uncaught type error, assignment to constant variable, and this is true. So when we were learning about variables, I told you that a variable that is declared using the const keyword, they are immutable, which means we cannot update the data of those variables. But wait a second, we clearly did that here. So we said name of friends at index 2, that is Rakhi, should now be updated with John Wick. So when we save that, we got a new array back with Rakhi replaced with John Wick. But how is that happening? We created name of friends with the const keyword, but consts are immutable. You cannot update const. Isn't this a contradiction? Yes, it is. But what I did not tell you at that time is that only primitive values are immutable, but an array is not a primitive value, it's a non-primitive value, and so we can actually change it. So we can mutate the data inside of an array, and this works this way because of the way JavaScript stores things in memory. And again, we will see all about this when we will talk about some advanced stuffs like how JavaScript works behind the scene. But for now, don't confuse yourself with all of this and keep it very simple and stupid. Okay, so moving forward, let's now create an array that stores multiple types of data all at once. And I have commented all the previous console.log statements. So here I'm just going to say const person details equals to this empty pair of brackets. Inside this, we are going to write down the detail about this person. So let's say the first name is John, last name is Wick. Let's consider his age to be 47, and let's ask if he has a dog. Actually false, he was killed. And does he have a car? True, he has a car. And then you can actually pass an entire array itself. So let's pass entire array as an additional data for this person. So you can call it Baba Yaga, his actually call it initial name if you have watched this John Wick series. Then Boogeyman Slayer. Okay, so yeah, this is some details about John Wick. I am a little fan, not big one, but yeah, if you want to console.log, just do that, and there you go, you see your dynamic array. So this is a form of dynamic array. We have different types of data. We have string, integer, boolean, then an array itself. Of course we can pass an object as well, but since we haven't talked about object, we are going to skip it. Or should I do it? Let's go. I can simply pass a very simple object. I will say John. So this is an object. Don't worry, we are going to understand about it. If you save it, expand, and there you go, you have a multiple dynamic array. Okay, so if you want to access data, actually you can call dot length method to find the length of this array. So if you say dot length, there you go, 7. And if you want to access you want to access this array, you can access it with its indexing position. So 0 1 2 3 4 5. So okay, person details, 5th index, console that, and you see this entire array. Okay, and so if you want to access the data inside of this array, then again you will have to refer their indexing position. So you can say, let's find out this Boogeyman Slayer, retrieve this one, not find out. Okay, so I'm just going to say give me the data of index 1 that is inside of this array. Okay, so you get Boogeyman Slayer. So this is a very neat example of dynamic array. JavaScript has some built-in functions that we can directly apply on arrays to perform some task, and these are called as methods. So you can consider these methods as operations that we can perform on an array. And of course, we have a lot other use cases of methods as well, but we will see that in details little bit later. But for now, let's understand the complete basics. Now, there are countless methods in JavaScript, but here we'll talk about a few ones that we can apply on arrays, and later when we will talk about advanced concepts related to JavaScript, I will introduce you with some important and most often used methods in ES6. But for now, let's use some of the simple methods that we can apply on an array. So first, I'm just going to say console.log this simple array, and there you go, you have this simple array. Now if you want to insert some data in this array, you can use this push method. So you can call it push. Okay, and then like this. So if you read, it says new elements to add to the array, appends new elements to the end of an array, and returns the new length of the array. Here you pass the data. For example, let's pass an array itself. So let's copy this one. Why to write it again? Okay, so if you pass this, now if you print console.log this simple array, now you will see that previously our array had this very simple data, but now we'll get an array as well. Our array has this array itself, and then it returned us the length as well. Okay, so this is very simple push method. Simply we have unshift as well. So if you write, let me first write and then I will show you. It says unshift, and if you hover over it, you can read inserts new elements at the start of an array and returns the new length of the array. So push method appends an item in the last of the array, and this unshift inserts an item on the very start of the array. So here I can pass Mr. And now let's print the entire array. Now you see unshift inserted Mr. at the very beginning of the array. And similarly we have pop as well. So I can say simple array dot pop. And when you call pop, you'll have to call it like a function. And then if you hover over it, it says removes the last element from an array and returns it. If the array is empty, undefined is returned and the array is not modified. Now you do not pass anything to this pop. You just call it and then one data will be deleted. So if you save, you see the last data is deleted. So we inserted an array in the last and it is deleted. Now if you want to delete one more data out of the array from the last, just call pop and there you go. You will see that now the true will also be deleted. So now I can see that true is gone. Similarly, if you keep calling it until the data is deleted, the entire data is deleted, now it returned you an empty array. So this is a very simple pop. Pop simply deletes last data inside of an array. And after this we have shift. So I can say simple array dot shift, and if you hover it, it says removes the first element from an array. So unshift enters and shift removes. So now if you save, you see Mr. is deleted. Unshift inserted Mr. Shift deleted Mr. Push inserted a data from the last. Pop deleted the data from the last. Similarly, we have two more common methods. I can simply say simple array and dot. If you say index of, okay, and if you hover over it, you can read that returns the index of the first occurrence of a value in an array. For example, if you want to find out the index of let's say this true, okay, you can take it, simply just copy it, and here you just pass it. And now simple array dot index of will return you the index of this data. So again you'll have to copy it. By the way, we can do this here as well. So I can say index of, because we are directly consoling, okay, so I can say index of true, and you'll see we'll get the index of this true. So the index of true is 4. So 0 1 2 3 4, okay, that is includes. So I'm just going to say includes, and if you hover over it, you can read it says determines whether an array includes a certain element, returning true or false as appropriate. So if you want to find out if a value exists inside an array, for example, if you want to check if week exists in this array, you can pass this week here like a string, and then it will return you true or false. If you save it, you get true, and if you say weeks, we do not have weeks in this array, so it will return you false. So these are very simple array methods in JavaScript. So this is all about arrays in JavaScript. Next up, we are going to understand about what are objects in JavaScript. So do make sure to like the video and subscribe the channel. I will see you in the next one. Till then, stay safe and happy coding.